So I think people look at it and they see just this temporary, like a quick image and assume, make all sorts of assumptions.
They don't really know what we stand for. They don't know our philosophy. They don't. It's like, who are these people raising kids that look like this? So basically, we're just gonna jump right into it.
This is not healthy at all.
Look at this. Look at this one.
Y'all realize this is pretty unhealthy for such young kids, or are you also brainwashed by the fitness industry?
Okay. Right?
Okay.
Just let them be kids and have fun outside. There's so many ways to be healthy, starting from a young age, but going to the gym and eating protein shakes or whatever is not the way for kids their age. Why do we do that to our kids? Why do we push our kids to work out?
We encourage our kids to do physical activity.
I agree. They're always enrolled in something physical. We knew by getting into like the content creation game that we're exposing ourselves and our kids to, like, maybe let's not go down that route.
No.
Oh, okay.
They don't read the comments.
Right.
So,
well, no, Amaya does.
Does she really?
Yeah. But
Okay.
it's mostly positive.
It's like vast majority positive.
Right. First of all, I don't even entertain the comments. Like I knew coming into the content creation game, like that's what our family's up against. And I never came for validation. I came to show what's possible. And obviously, encouraging our kids to work out, they're benefiting from it in so many ways because we don't push them to work out every day. More so, we're leading by example.
That's what the whole thing comes down to. So I think people look at it and they see just this temporary, like a quick image and assume, make all sorts of assumptions that we're feeding them protein shakes and forcing them to work out every day. We have them, like you said, enrolled in activities. So whether it's extracurricular sports or martial arts or swimming, like the things that we know they'll benefit from in life.
Period.
Then we exercise ourselves and they ask to exercise also. So right. Kids learn through observation. And when they see what we're doing, they're like, we want to do it too. We're not forcing them to do anything. So we created the Fit Family Challenges just to give them something to work towards.
Absolutely.
It's just like goal setting.
Absolutely. Sorry. And I think we value goal setting so much with our kids. Again, like our oldest is almost 13, our middle is 9, and our youngest is 6. And leading the life where we're disciplining ourselves by being physically active. Not only that, but we're encompassing like positivity, positive self-talk, mental discipline. And we're finding that it's working for us. It's working for them. So when people see videos like this, it's like you're just seeing a snapshot of what we put together. But these kids are like loved and nourished, and they're surrounded by such positivity from both of us just because, you know, we just work so well together as a team that we don't really entertain the negativity. What is it to us when we're benefiting?
The goal is never to look super fit, but when you have a healthy lifestyle, you have a healthy body and it just sort of reflects. And so it's not just exercise, it's being physical, but providing your body with the optimal nutrients so that it can be healthy and perform that way. And then that brings in self-confidence and self-esteem, and you carry yourself in a different manner and you look for challenges. And then we keep encouraging growth. What did you do to grow today?
Right. I find like that's how we talk to our kids often.
Yeah. Like, what did you, so you're reading, I'm reading, we listen to different podcasts, books, audiobooks, things that will give us a takeaway that we can benefit from. And then again, the kids see us doing that.
Yeah.
And then they do it too. It's just something that we do.
Right. How many days do you work out?
So I work out I'll say I work out 5 days a week. That's my actual weight training 5 days a week. But I start every day with cardio.
Right. And I'm the same. Like I work out 5 days a week, and the other days I'm busy doing something to benefit the family. Right. So the kids see that. It's like their environment. This is what they're growing up in. When we were younger, our parents didn't do that. So we were a product of our environment. So it was a good home, but they weren't working out the way you and I do.
But okay, so I was really physical my whole life. I just did stuff that was physically active. That was my fun.
Okay. Same.
And yeah, and
Like,
that just sort of carried into adulthood. But no, my parents didn't.
Okay.
Like I was in swimming lessons,
Okay.
but I
What
didn't
were
do
your
any
parents?
extracurricular sports. No,
Okay, so
my dad took me swimming.
Okay, my mom took me swimming. My dad took
Okay, so
me.
that's like there's that
and
kind of stuff.
and most people do, and it's not parent shaming anyone or parent shaming our parents. It's just that's the difference, that we're different and we are raising them differently.
But I think it's like kind of learning from that also. When I was a
Absolutely.
kid, I really wanted to be in karate. I don't even know karate, any kind of martial arts, and not specific, but it's something that I really wanted to do. And I don't know if I even brought that up to my parents that it was something that I really wanted to do. But even as an adult, looking back, like it's something that I would have really appreciated having as a skill set. So when the opportunity came that we could put them in, it's something that I really want to encourage because I know there's just so many physical benefits from it, physical and mental benefits from it.
Right.
So I want to push them to stay in there as long as they can. And that's only twice a week.
Right. So like our goals as parents is to like inspire kids to stay young and healthy and be happy. And that's pretty much like our core values.
Yeah, that's our own goals.
Yeah.
I want to be the youngest person my age.
Yeah.
It's that physical, mental longevity. Like that's the goal. I don't want to age. I want to stay young as long as I can.
Right.
Physically, the more physically healthy and mentally healthy you are, the more you can participate in life, the greater the experiences you can
100%.
have. And the longer through life you can have those experiences. And it's doing that, being that, and setting the example for our kids so they can do the same.
Yeah.
And they're starting just a whole lot younger than we were.
Yeah. So I think that's huge.
Yeah. I think it's neat that the kids, because they just grow up with us, and so we're just parents to them. And it's just now that they're starting to understand that we're fit. Like this isn't normal. As other kids comment to them, like your parents are fit. Like they're just our parents. Like they're just
Yeah. No,
and then
right?
they start to say, "Yeah, my dad's buff."
Yeah.
And
because you went to volunteer at the kids' school, Jasmine's class one year, and that's kind of how like one of the kids described you. They're like, your dad is buff. And I'm like, oh, Jazz, that's what they think of your dad, like buff.
Yeah, they said he's buff, but she's never heard that before. Like she just knows that's dad.
Right.
And so now that the muscle is starting to show on them, they're like really happy because they're starting to stand out for other kids.
They get so amped. Like they get so
like,
amped.
Look at me.
Yeah. Like Davey. Yeah.
He's so skinny stuff. But there's the muscle starting to come. He's only 6.
Yeah.
But he's so happy in the triceps. When I was posing with Jasmine,
right,
he was so excited. He thought it was so cool to see the muscle like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other day I was in the gym with Jazz, and I'm like we don't have them in the gym every day, and that's something that the internet doesn't get to see. They're not in there 7 days a week. They go in spurts at a time or whenever they feel like it, but because that's all they're surrounded with, they're becoming that.
Yeah.
Their own version of that. Yeah.
It's available to them. Can we go to the gym?
Yeah.
And an adult has to be in the gym with them. We don't let them go in on their own.
So, yeah, when I was in there with Jazz the other day, I always try to see if I could. My goal is to always, like you, stay young, fit, and healthy. And I always try to do like my little bar start tricks. So they find it so cool that I could. It's an illusion that I run up and then I go to the side and then go to the other side. And Jasmine you just see her face light up. And it's a goal of hers to be able to do it. So I enjoy like setting these challenges for them and watching them climb to achieve them. And then we get to share it with the world and
Mhm.
inspire others so they can see what's possible. Like, how awesome is that?
Yeah, there's a respect you get from people when you have like a skill set like that.
Right. And I think what we're trying to do is another one of our goals is to keep our kids learning new skills so they become skillful. They have a library of skills. We never want them to say, okay, well, we got here, we're done. Because there's times they don't want to do karate. We keep them in
Yeah,
karate, they don't want to do karate, but we know it's good for them. So
because
we encourage them.
we've had the experiences ourselves where it's something we wanted to give up on. You know what? I'm not feeling. It's getting too hard. It's getting too challenging. It's not fun right now. But then we stuck through it, and then there's a significant achievement. And that's why, like in karate, when they get to level up and they get the next belt, it's like accomplishment. Like keep it doesn't end. Like
Right.
it's this you can keep working towards something and feel accomplished in the end. And when you give up, you
You don't feel good.
know
You
it's like
don't
a
feel good.
loss. And there's actual like proof scientifically that in your brain there's a disconnect that happens when you don't complete something versus when you complete something. And
Right.
the more you complete something, the more you're likely to complete more things. The more you give up on things, the more you're likely to give up on things. You're actually setting that in your brain.
Right. So that's pretty much the tone we're setting
Mm.
for the kids. And that's where the mental discipline comes in with doing something so consistent on a regular basis. Right. They may not necessarily like it. And there are times where they do enjoy it when
Mm.
they're rewarded for their great efforts and stuff like that. But there's times where I don't feel like going in the gym, but I push myself
No.
to do it anyways because I'm disciplined that way. It's a part of me, right?
I think at, as of today, my morning cardio consistency is like 440 something days consistent.
Damn.
So I started actually measuring it January 1st last year, and I haven't missed a day. And I can't. And really, it just comes down to getting steps in because I want to stay physical.
Yeah.
And I realize I'm not that physical if I don't do that. So if it's a rest day and I don't even get on the treadmill for 20 minutes, I'm only doing like 3,000 steps in a day. Like I'm not moving a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so that makes sure I move every day. That's all that is to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to encourage the kids to do the same. So right now they get to play, they get the recesses, they get to run
Yeah.
and stuff. And then they have the structure with karate and swimming. Maya has all her sports.
Right. But I think it's so important putting that consistency factor in with parenting our kids. Like, we're not ever trying to convert people to do it the way we do it. We just want to show people what's possible, how we raise our kids, why our kids perform the way they do. Because the year we did the Fit Family Challenge, we did 30 days. Like, we did 4 exercise over 30 days. We did take a break between the challenges, but it was 30 days of one exercise consistently. And
Mm.
just before track season, Amai's first time running track and field, we just finished doing pistol squats. Pistol squats. She
Mm.
dominated. She was like
Yeah.
one of the fastest girls in Durham region. She was what, top 3 in the 100 meter. And most people like from our YouTube channel, it's like, oh man, it's because you had those kids doing pistol squats. Well, absolutely. I think it encompasses everything, like the physical, the mental, that positive self-talk, because I'll big up the kids over any small thing that they do. I think it's so grand. And it's funny because Jasmine came to me the other day and she's watching a girl do gymnastics in her house to a Mariah Carey song. She's like, Mom, do you think I can do this? And she's into gymnastics. She didn't want to do it. We took her out, put
Mm.
her into karate.
Yeah, because it was so many hours a week.
Yeah, right. It wasn't working for our schedule.
Mm.
But the thing is, she came to me and she's like, Mom, do you think I can do this? Whatever that little girl's doing on YouTube that she's watching. And I'm like, yeah, Yes, absolutely. Yes, you and her face just lit up and she was like practicing the routine for like hours. Hours. She'll go put on her old gymnastic
Yeah.
suit. She'll do the flips. But the thing is, that positive encouragement that they're surrounded by with you and
Mm.
I never tell them they can't do something. Like you can like, no, you can't do that. You're too young. No, I'm like, if you think you can do it, then you're already halfway there because belief is everything. All the time we're encouraging
Mm.
that belief. Yeah, you can do it. Absolutely. And we like, I'm like their
Yeah.
hype man.
I'm not going to take I can't. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That
It irks us,
you're
but
fully capable. You can
yeah.
absolutely do this.
Yes. And do our kids say they can't? Yes. Our kids are kids. But at the same time, we have to be so conditioned to catch them. Like, we're going to change the way you just said that because it all boils down to your attitude and level of effort. Just those two things. And you're already halfway there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just keeping the right mindset. And you can see where you're at in that moment.
Right. So, yeah. So, again, like a lot of what the internet sees is just those years of nurturing our children. They have affirmations. They look at themselves in the mirror. They see us posing. They want to pose. So they're just seeing a better version of themselves all the time, every single time they're looking at themselves in the mirror.
You can see how happy they are. And that's sort of, as a parent, I'm happy to see them happy. And we are trying to set up the life so they can have their happiness and work towards whatever it is they want. So even with the sports, Jasmine, do you want to do karate? Yes, I want to do karate. Like we ask them all, do you want to do this? Yes, I want to do this. You're sure you want to do this? Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah. All right, let's do it. I'm telling you, if you do it, here's what the expectations are.
You're going to stick it out.
I want to do it. Like, okay, here we go. So it's not like we're forced to do something they don't want to do in any of these things.
No, they always have say.
Yeah.
They always have say.
Even when we're doing the Fit Family Challenges, we're all like agreeing on the exercise. Okay, we're going to do this. It's got to be this kind. Okay, the girls picked these setups, didn't they?
Yeah. It was yeah.
Oh, that was brutal.
It was.
I had to learn how to do them.
Right? But they saw you doing it, and if you can do it, they absolutely know they can do it. And I think that's what it boils down to. If you can do it, I can do it.
Our kids are just physical, and we encourage them to be physical. They're not doing repetitive heavy lifting and killing it in the gym every day. So there's nothing to worry about stunting growth or any of that. It's not
right, because we do get a lot of comments like that. Yeah. Oh, it's like bad for you, stunting your growth.
The things that I did when I was a kid, like what you actually have to do to damage an epiphyseal plate, it's very significant. You're not going to get it from playing unless you have a big fall and breaking bone. Like so. The activities they're doing are just going to encourage strength, coordination, agility,
self-confidence.
Yeah.
That's a huge one. Like, it's huge.
Balance. Like they're just having fun in the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And they're physically being rewarded for it. They're stronger. They're faster.
Yeah. And I love watching it happen because it's something that's working for them. It's working for them, and they're not being harmed in any way. More so, we're watching their evolution, their growth, them become so much stronger because of it.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them grow.
It's so fun. It's like, okay, in the most respectful way, they're like our little guinea pigs. We're like, okay, let's feed them with all the positivity. Let's feed them with what we know, and let's watch them grow. And boy, are they ever transforming. Yeah.
It's so much more than just like the physical activity and the food. And the food, we're almost lucky that Danny is gluten sensitive,
right?
Because now everybody just eats way healthier for it.
Oh yeah.
So all our food is homemade. Primarily homemade.
Yeah.
Bake your own desserts. Cook everything. Learn to make like pizza from scratch.
Yeah.
I make them gluten-free pancakes. So yeah, the kids don't eat protein shakes. We don't force protein into them all day. They probably eat more protein than the average person.
Yeah.
Because
that's what we eat. Yeah, they eat what we eat.
We know that that's beneficial, but it's by no means a protein dominant diet. Nothing like that. You would never know just looking at the food that they eat through the day.
Right.
you just see that it's probably the healthier version of the foods they eat.
And we try
and they eat so much.
They don't stop.
Oh my gosh.
They
like
don't stop.
we never had lunches like that.
Never. These kids are premium fed kids. And I tell them all the time, I say to Danny,
they gotta appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm like, you're like a Range Rover. I'm like, you just need the premium gas. You can't get just the regular stuff. It doesn't work for you.
No. You run on premium.
You do.
And they have so much more energy, and look how they look physically because of it.
Yes. And I think
you put in good, you get out good.
Yeah. So what would you say is our goal to being here on YouTube? Like what's our why? Like why? Why are we here?
I want to share what's possible because I know that we live a lifestyle that's different from most.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with our own backgrounds, education-wise, work-wise, that whole thing, and then we incorporate that into our lives and now into our kids' lives. From our perspective, doing the best that we can from them, sharing with other people, here's what's possible, and this is sort of the outcome as we see it.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, that helps with our own discipline, I think, because you're committing to it.
Yeah.
And so, because everybody falls off sometimes.
Absolutely. 100%. And we don't want to ever leave that out.
Yeah. Because we're not 100% on.
Never. Even with our parenting game, we fall off.
No. Sometimes I'll get frustrated. Sometimes I'll get short.
Yeah. But I think it's the balance and the majority of who we are that really does count, because you see what's dominant in them and how they role model what they're learning at home for the most part. Do our kids still act like kids? Yeah, they're totally normal kids, but they're just being raised in a different environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they still have electronics. They're still on their computers or their iPads. Yeah, they're still normal kids. They still play with their friends and have that interaction. It's not like we're really super strict or strict with their diet.
Right.
Like they'll still eat desserts.
They'll do that, exactly. But I think what we value most, and our philosophy as parents for them in this household, is self-growth. It's all about self-growth. How can we get better and better and better in the most supportive and positive way? So we try to balance everything with them.
And teaching them to uplift others and don't put people down.
Exactly.
So be the person that helps others.
Yeah.
That makes people feel better about themselves. You don't want to be the person that brings someone down ever. Right. Don't be that person. That's not who we are, and that's not what we want to raise them to be.
Yes.
Mental aspect is huge. So when your mental focus is always to learn and grow, so you're not just training your muscles, but training your mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you got to develop that mental toughness, and we also allow them to exercise that muscle and deal with challenges such as the 30-day Fit Fam challenge.
Yeah.
Because if they don't develop that mental muscle, that discipline, they'll never have it. They won't understand what it takes to become disciplined and to become better. It really does start with you, the inner you, right?
Whenever there's people who have anxiety and depression, you can sort of find where that came from. Mm-hmm. And most times it's not being limited in certain experiences. So you want to make sure they have the opportunity to have that variety of experiences. And again, having the self-confidence and a positive self-esteem.
It's huge.
To know they can take on those challenges.
Absolutely. If you don't develop that muscle, you just don't have it. Mm-hmm. You give up way too easily. You and I both have done things where we just gave up, but we just kept at it and developing that muscle. And our goal was to come on here because people see our exercise video. They'll see us in public like, oh yeah, you guys are like the Fit Fam. And we really don't know what everybody else is saying about us. We see comments. We appreciate all the positivity, but at the end of the day, there's people that just don't know us that way. They don't really know what we stand for. They don't know our philosophy. It's like, who are these people raising kids that look like this? And I think it's just so important, especially when you are a content creator, you want to share those positive values and goals, because again, if we can do it, our kids can do it, and so can our viewers. And some people are just looking for that positivity, that different type of parenting skills, that inspiration, and that's kind of what we value, and it's a part of who we are in our philosophy, and we just wanted to, share that. At the end of the day, it's important to know your why. Like, why are you guys doing this? Why are we showing up? Why are we here?
When I'm scrolling on social media, any of those things, I'm looking for something that like interesting, something that I can learn from. Sometimes like I'm not learning it, put the thing down. So it's finding the ones that are almost more educational, or I'll look at exercises and I'm like trying to find the benefit from that. Can I incorporate that? Okay, this will work. And I like having takeaways, and we both work in a situation where we teach other people.
Yeah.
And how beneficial it is to those people.
Yeah.
So I think this gives us a platform to do just that, to share what we're learning, because I know people can benefit from it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And that's our why.